and welcome here to TalkFCB, and welcome back to the channel, guys. We are feeling good today. We are feeling very, very happy indeed after a huge victory over Atletico Madrid on Sunday, and we saw so many big performances at Barça. Within that team there, everybody came together, and you think about Joao Felix, you think at the other end about Inaki Pena. What a hero. So many big displays, and today we're going to be celebrating all of that. We're going to be focusing on the good things that we saw, but also as well, we have some discussion on a few more concerning things, because injuries once again are right there. They're a big topic always at Barça, and we also have maybe a bit of frustration from Alejandro Balde. We're going to be talking about the whole situation, so come on and let's do it. Because I would first of all, guys, like to kick off with actually some praise for Chay Hernandez, because let's be honest, it hasn't been the easiest few weeks for him. We questioned this team, we've questioned Xavi. The signs, to be fair, were not good and we were not heading in a good direction, but these have been huge days. The past few days for Xavi and for Barça have been absolutely huge. First of all, beating Porto, securing our place in the Champions League knockout stages, and then to not only beat Atleti, but the performance was much improved, because it was the way that we started the game, the way that we put constant pressure on Atletico Madrid and actually took the game to them. That was a huge improvement on what we'd been seeing. And let's be real here, guys. Xavi, for me, coached a game yesterday that should have seen Barça score 4 or 5 goals. And that is no exaggeration. If our finishing would have been better, and it should have been, and it has to be, we would have won this game much more comfortably. And Xavi deserves a lot of credit for that. This is the standard now. It has to be. We've got to move on from here. We have to replicate these performances, because we know we're capable. We know what we can do. We know what the players can offer, but we have to now produce consistency. And of course, guys, one of the driving forces behind that victory against the team who he's on loan from, it was Joao Felix. He was brilliant against Atletico Madrid, and I thought it was actually incredible. When you hear this morning, he wasn't in training today, by the way. He was actually away from training because of illness. He felt a bit sick there, and apparently during the game last night, he was already suffering with some sort of fever. And yet, look at the game he had. And it's not just about the goal here with Felix, the match-winning goal. That was absolutely spectacular, of course, but what really impressed me, again, it was that work rate. It was the hunger that he and every player showed last night, and especially him, given that he was probably under the weather. We've been told from Atletico Madrid, players and coaches there over and over again, Joao Felix doesn't work hard, Joao Felix won't work for the team, Joao Felix there won't buy into what you're trying to do. Look at him last night, the way that he applied himself there, constantly looking to get on the ball, constantly drawing fouls from Atletico Madrid. They were kicking him non-stop, but he kept picking himself up, getting about the pitch, causing them problems, and like I say, in the end, it was him that won us the game with that magical goal. But we have to talk too about Frenkie de Jong. Make no mistake about that, because for me, guys, it's no coincidence here that we're talking about improvement from Barca. No coincidence at all that suddenly things are starting to look a lot more positive now that he's back in our team, now that he is at the heart of our midfield, now that he's in there. We heard it from João Cancelo after the game against Porto. When Frenkie is there, everything is better, because he really is that good. And I think the whole midfield yesterday from Barça, that was actually one of the most exciting things. We have wanted more from them as a trio. You think about Pedri, you think about Gundogan and De Jong together. I thought all three of them yesterday put in brilliant performances. And I think, guys, as time goes on, they should get better and better and better as they get more comfortable, more familiar with each other, because I actually think as a trio, they complement each other's game very well. And if they can be at their best as a trio, if they can play there at their peak level, you'd have to say it's one of the best midfields in world football. And that is a fact. They are absolute top quality players, brilliant individuals, and if we can put it all together, if they can put in these consistent displays, we are looking at genius in our midfield. One player, though, who unfortunately was not able to be involved in Sunday's game was indeed Inigo Martinez there, actually injuring himself in the warm-up to the game. A very late change there at the last second, and unfortunately that is an injury that's going to keep him on the sidelines for around 4 weeks of actions. It's quite a serious problem there for Inigo Martinez, and actually that is such a blow, because he has been brilliant in recent weeks there, and especially given that he was injured when he arrived at the club back in the summer. He had a difficult start, but he's really been putting in a string of fantastic performances, really convincing Xavi, and that is why it's a big loss to the team now to lose him for several weeks. weeks. I'm really hoping that he's going to be able to return as soon as possible. But of course, guys, you would have to say that is one area of the team, thankfully, where we have some good depth. We got plenty of great centre-backs at the club. You only got to look at last night when Christensen was called in at the very final seconds, a really late change, like I say, but how good was he? He stepped up massively in that game, did not put a foot wrong against Atletico Madrid. And I did think it was great after the game to hear from Christensen about the whole process there of having to get ready to play really, really quickly and unexpectedly. And he actually said there, I took maybe 20 minutes in the first period of that game to effectively warm myself up. He was saying there, it was just like a warm-up for me. He has just said that facing Atletico Madrid, who've actually had one of the best attacks in Europe this season, was like a warm-up, all in a day's work for Andreas Christensen. And hopefully the defence can now step up in the absence of Inigo, which, speaking of that defensive side of the team, let's talk about the goalkeeping situation right now at Barca. Let's start by talking about Inaki Pena. How good was he again? Because when he first came in, guys, against Rayo, he looked maybe a little bit nervy. Obviously, it was a big game for him to be thrown in unexpectedly into the goalkeeping role at the club. And then against Porto, he took a massive step forward. He looked a lot more confident, assured. He looked like quite an imposing figure there between the sticks. And then last night against Atletico Madrid, it's like he took another step. Every single game right now, he is getting better and better and better. And the saves that he were pulling off there in the final stage of the match, when it really mattered, it was massive from Pena. And I could not be happier for him, and indeed for us, because this is really, really good news right now because of what's happening with Ter Stegen. Reports coming out this morning that actually his back problem, it is not going well at all. It's not been really responding in the way the club had hoped, and actually he might even have to undergo surgery, which if he was to do that, he would be out for between 4 to 6 weeks of action. So that decision will be made very, very soon, whether or not Ter Stegen will go through that surgery. But either way, I don't think we're going to see him for the rest of this year. Inaki Pena here is going to get a real run of games, and what a chance for him. We keep saying it every few days right now, but this is huge for him. He's still only 24 years old, he's still young for a goalkeeper, he's learning all the time, and what an exciting chance here to have a real stretch of fixtures now where you can start to stamp your authority, you can start to put pressure, if possible there, on Ter Stegen, because I'm a firm believer here that every single player in this team must be pushed. Whether you're the goalkeeper, whether you're the striker, you have to be on your toes. You've got to feel as though there's real competition behind you, and Pena right now, he's doing incredible things, and long may it continue. Which indeed, guys, speaking then about competition for places, let's talk about Balde. Let's talk about this whole situation here involving Alejandro Balde, because it was yesterday the second successive game that he was benched by Xavi. Cancelo once again preferred in that left-back role, and the reason that I really want to talk about this is, after the game apparently, according to Gerard Romero there, Balde was very unhappy, actually angry there after the game. The fact that he warmed up for a lot of that second half, that he didn't even end up coming on for a single second of the match, and apparently after the game there, he went straight down to the dressing room in an angry sort of manner. And of course right now, this just happens to be coming in one of the more turbulent spells of Balde's young career, because we've also heard quite a lot of rumours over the past few days there. One, questioning his attitude at the club. Barca apparently inside the club a little bit concerned about the way there's a lack of focus at times, maybe a lack of maturity. You know, they want to see him working a little bit harder perhaps to improve and really nail down that left back spot. And it was also interesting, I thought, that we heard that Jorge Mendes, Balde's agent, during the renewal talks that we had with him back in the summer, he actually mentioned to the club that if Barca want to generate income, if they do want to make a big sale to get money in at the club, Balde could be a very important asset for us. Now, of course, Balde renewed until 2028. He's a massive player here in the future of our club. But all of these things are swirling around right now. And I've got to say, guys, before the Porto game, I felt very bad for Balde, because last season we can't forget how good he was. We can't forget how much of an outlet he was at left back. Those runs forward, the work he was doing in the final third, it was spectacular. And of course, that's the player that we want to be seeing in our team every week. But there's also no denying he does have to improve. You know, this season hasn't been at the same level, especially in the final third there. The decision making hasn't been as effective. Of course, we've got to find out a way to use him effectively with Cancelo too. But I think right now, guys, what you can't do is take it out on Xavi. You know, if you're Balde, you can't get angry with him, because the changes that he's made over the past 2 games, they've worked. Cancelo has been very good at left back, brilliant of course against Porto, and our team, our defence, looks a lot more balanced balanced after the changes that Xavi has made. So I think what Balde has to do now, no good getting angry, no good getting frustrated over it. You've got to get your head down, you've got to work hard. You've got to prove now to the club and to the coaching staff that I can win my place back. I'm a young player, I'm a really talented, really exciting young player, and I'm going to do everything in my power to win that place back. He's going to get chances, there's going to be rotation, there's going to be lots of games to come, he's going to get opportunities in this team, and when he does now, he too has to raise his level, he too has to make sure that he is at his absolute best. We've got to demand that of Barca. Every player has to be at that level, because that is exactly the sign of a winning team. And indeed, guys, I am really interested there on your thoughts on that Balde situation, how things are developing right now. Do you have faith here that he can bounce back, that he can get back into this team and really return to the kind of form that we saw from him last season that was absolutely magnificent? Do let me know those thoughts in the comments down below, and also on the emergence of Inaki Pena, especially now Ter Stegen is set for some time on the sidelines. Do let me know all of your thoughts down below, and we do have as well content over on MORETALKFCB today. We're going to be talking about Vitor Roque and his imminent arrival. I will see all of you guys soon with lots more coming up. Good feelings right now, and I appreciate all of your support. I will see you soon, but until next time, as always, Visca, El Barça.